The MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Shady Rays. SGPN is teaming up with Shady Rays for Shady May. Get 50% off your Shady Rays using the promo code SGPN. Then go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win $500. Welcome, everybody, to the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. My name is Malcolm Bamford. I am unable to say Shady Ray or Shady Mays for a third time. It's like the third time through the order. I just can't do it. Once I get to Shady May that second time, it makes me laugh every single time. Today is, let's have a think, Monday, definitely, May the 8th. And we are here for a full card of action for Tuesday, May the 9th. Joining me off the youth team tonight, number 77, Mr. Noah Bieniek. Noah, what's happening?
Malcolm, what's going on, man? Great weekend for yours truly. Watching my alma mater, the Point Park Pioneers, won the conference tournament today. They were the 3 seed in our conference, and we stole a bid. And outstanding performances by the pitching staff. We had 2 starters throw 15 and 16 innings in 4 days over the weekend. So Outstanding job from the guys. And now they're going into the NAIA national tournament.
It was opening day here as well yesterday. However, I chose to go to the Newcastle match and drink my own body weight in cider. But I believe we won. We beat Newcastle University doubleheader 16-1 and then 7-1, I think, in the second game.
There we go.
Yeah.
So you have university ball begin in May. So when does the season end?
We'll go through till October.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe September. Obviously, the weather's like we've barely been able to practice the last 3 months because it's just been soaking wet and horrible. But obviously, it's just out. It's out of season for the universities as well because the students all go home. But there's 2 universities in Newcastle, but they'll be around to play because there's a hell of a lot of Asian students hanging around, loads of Japanese, Korean students. So they just stay here and they get little summer jobs and stuff. So the university teams are strong.
I normally don't rep all my shit because it's all sweat stained and stuff from practicing. It's a black hat with a bunch of sweat stains, but yeah, I felt like today called for it because it was a great weekend from the guys.
Yeah, absolutely. The chat is buzzing as always. Riley was first in. Well, DBJ was first in. He was waiting. Riley's here, Lane. Live TP performer. Do you know who this is? No, a new name for me.
Yeah, new name for me too. Welcome.
Excellent. So good evening. Very welcome. If you'd ever watch us live, come and join in. It's fun. Nothing to be scared of. The Discord channel as well is always full of beans. I've just finished watching the end of the football now. There's been 3 Premier League games today, and the games finished 5-3, 5-1. The plus 900 underdogs won 5-1 on the road, and then the last game's just finished 4-3. So there's been 21 goals in the 3 games today, and Barry gave out the plus 900 winner. So there's been our Discord channel has been absolutely full of winners today, which is why I bring up the Discord.
Sounds like lots of fun. And did you pay attention to any fantasy baseball this weekend in the SGPN league?
Well, I've got it mentioned. It's in so I've got 3 things of notes here. So I was working on Saturday. I was drunk yesterday. So I haven't seen I've caught up with all the scores. I've checked a few boxes. But I didn't see loads and loads and stuff. This is what I can remember from this weekend. I've written down quite a few blowouts, quite a few extra innings that went kind of deeper in. Not like 10-inning games. There was a couple of 14s and stuff, wasn't there, knocked out? Our TGFBI pitchers are a nightmare because we keep doing the same thing every week. 4 or 5 pitchers have a good start. We claw our way back. Claw, somewhere near a 40 RA, and then someone comes and goes kapoosh, 12 runs in 2 innings. And last night was Graham Ashcraft's turn. Last week was Brad Keller had a go. Brady Singer's had a turn. They've all had a go. They're taking turns, and Yeah, it was horrible.
This week it was Brad Keller again though against Oakland. So like he didn't have the greatest start. And I said to you, I was like, I really believe in this Royals pitching staff because they've fixed Aroldis Chapman. They're doing a lot of things. But the two guys that we had on our roster had been struggling lately, Brady Singer and Brad Keller. And I was like, all right, Keller, I'm ready to cut the cord if he can't do anything against the Athletics. He sucked. So we cut the cord on Brad Keller. But Graham Ashcraft pitched like an inning and maybe 2 outs and got that comebacker on Saturday off his shin. Hopefully he's good for this week. But yeah, I mean, I'm playing Insano, Captain Insano this week in the SGPN league. And I think my strength of schedule is number 1 in this fucking league because I've played Blake. I think I've played Foxy, and both those guys cover fantasy baseball for us here.
Foxy's bottom of the league for his start.
I know, but I'm saying both those guys cover it. Then I played the Morning Dump, who, please forgive me, but I forget who manages that team. But he's 3rd in the league, and I've won my last 2 matchups. I'm 4th, and I lost the first 2 or 3 or whatever. So. My schedule. So you haven't
played against the league leaders yet, then, Noah?
Yeah, that's you, right?
Oh, is it? Sorry, I hadn't. I wasn't sure. Just ordering. Yes, I was sure. It is me. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, that's what the final thing on my notes is. Top of the day, gents fantasy. Yeah, little flex. Yeah, I'm quite comfortably clear as well. So yeah, catch me if you can, boys. But yeah, I need to. I'll get my head back into MLB. I enjoyed looking at today's cards. Obviously, we had the stupid coronation over the weekend. Did you watch any of that silliness?
No, I have no idea what that is. So tell me about it.
Oh, don't you sound like Dylan? The coronation of King Charles III. Was it the 3rd? 4th? Who knows? You know, the King and the Queen. Do you understand any of this?
Yeah, I know your monarchy system over there, but I don't know who it is, what it's about, all that stuff.
Maybe. Well, King Charles was his coronation this weekend.
The only reason why I know any leader of countries is if they do something bad. Like I know Putin and I know Kim Jong-un, and that's I think that's it because those are the 2 guys that really could start World War III today if they wanted to.
Oh, fair enough. Well, we just had the most ridiculous British weekend of people trotting around the place in gold carriages and all that sort of shite. But yeah, it was preposterous. But yeah, it's been a fun weekend. Newcastle got beat yesterday, so I made myself extra full of cider to numb the pain on that one. But we are ready to fill in this week's MLB. I think I went all right with tally site picks and stuff over the weekend. My dogs have been barking. I think I'm 6 from 7 on my dogs on the little spreadsheet that we fill in every day. So yeah, going along okay. I'll tell you about Shady Rays and Shady May before we get on with the card. Shady Rays teaming up with SGPN for Shady May. You're getting a Mason 50% off, but a chance to win $500. Shady Rays got you covered for all your outdoor activities. The durable frames are brilliant, but if they do break or you lose them, you can get them replaced even on day 1. They'll send you a brand new pair, no questions asked, or you can get them exchanged or return them for free within 30 days. So there's no risk at all. Go to shadyrays.com, use the code SGPN for 50% off 2 or more pairs of polarized sunglasses. Then take your receipt to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/shady for your chance to win the $500 Shady May contest. Okay.
I love this comment from Lane Elliott. There's actually 2 of them that are great from him here. But he goes, Malcolm, you've been killing the dogs. Well, is he killing picking the underdogs, or is he killing dogs like Michael Vick over there? Malcolm, statement?
Well, if we had this conversation yet, some people might think I'm a little bit weird. I don't like dogs.
Oh, Malcolm.
Even a little, and I'm not saying I'm going around killing them. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
But I just don't understand them, Noah. I don't know where they come from. I don't trust them. Like,
well, do you understand? You teach them, and then it's
where they come from.
Like, what do you mean where they come from?
Well, where do they live? Like, I know animals live in the wild, right? Yeah, generally.
Sure. Do you have a cat? Please don't tell me you have a cat.
Of course not. No, okay, not at all. I don't understand, right? If I came round your house, Noah, right, and got with my arse out, right, with my naked arse out, you're sitting watching the telly, having a sandwich, and I've put my naked arse next to you. You'd have something to say, wouldn't you? You'd say, well, that's inappropriate. But a dog can do it all at once, and no one seems bothered that this naked shitty arse is just sitting next to your sandwich or your yogurt or your bowl of pasta. It's baffling. Like, it's absolutely baffling to me.
It's one interesting way to look at owning a dog. Sure, go ahead. Lane Elliott also, the other great comment was he wants to place a future on Insano to win the SGPN Dynasty League. What would you place the odds here? Because he lost to you in the semifinals last year. He's in second currently in the standings, and it's you in first. I'm in fourth. Blake's in fifth. Those are three of the SGPN baseball contributors here. What would his odds be?
Well, if you want to pick Insano over me, I don't think you should be allowed money for a start. But I'll give you 8-1 on the captain. If anyone wants to fill the boots, just send the PayPal over. 8-1 on the captain. You can have 16-1 on Noah. Minus 300 on yours truly.
It's a dynasty league. So if anybody's listened to this podcast ever, you know how my team's probably constructed. I have like 2 guys maybe over the age of 30. I'm playing for the long run. I've got a ton of young guys still on their rookie contracts. We're becoming a dynasty. That's what the term dynasty league is, and that's what we're building here. And the Tijuana Tiger Sharks, baby.
The only dynasty is how many consecutive years I'm going to win. That's the dynasty aspect of that league. That's what I thought it meant. Right, let's make some picks. 6:10 Eastern, first pitch tomorrow, is the Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Guardians. My guy, Michael Lorenzen, for Detroit, and Shane Bieber. He is my guy. He's my guy again tomorrow. I like him. Okay. Shane Bieber goes for Cleveland. It's plus 185 on the Tigers, minus 213 on the Guardians. Total set at 7.5. So yeah, Michael Lorenzen, 1-1, 5.14 ERA. He got the good start that I've written. Might change that to I thought that he was capable of against the New York Mets.
I was there last time. I was in that camp with you.
Yeah. I agree with you.
On that show.
And I think the Guardians are a good team for him to back it up against. I don't see why he can't go and put up another good performance. Cleveland don't score a shit ton of runs. They won a series this weekend for the first time in 6 or 7. I think did they just squeak past Minnesota? Bieber's been okay, if not brilliant. Detroit were very, very profitable for us last week. They were more than competitive. I do think this is a good spot for both pitchers. Bieber at home against a fairly weak Detroit lineup, as good as they were last week. And I've got to back up Michael Lorenzen. I went with him last week. I have no reason not to back him up. I'll take the under 7.5, Noah, please.
Oh yeah, I'm lockstep with you here. Is Shane Bieber? He has a 2.45 ERA in his last 9 starts against after the pandemic against the Tigers here. The two teams ranked 29th and 30th in OPS against right-handed pitching, and Michael Lorenzen had a great outing against the Mets last week. So over the last 2 weeks, Cleveland has a 2.65 bullpen ERA, which is 4th in the MLB. Detroit has a 3.63, which is 16th. I like all of the unders. Give me all the unders in this game. And how about that preseason handicap from your boy? Cleveland playing a little bit more games out of division. They've started off rough, but they still own the division. They just won the weekend series against the only team that's above 500 in Minnesota this weekend.
Yep. Shrewd. You're a shrewd man, Noah.
So, one month in, I'm already touting a pick. You know, that's how the MLB gambling podcast goes, you know.
Where do you want your statue, Noah? 6:35
right
Eastern.
Here, next to all the other trophies on the dresser.
That's where we'll put it. Colorado Rockies at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Connor Seabold for Colorado, and you told me is it Jose Ortiz?
Luis
Ortiz goes for the Pirates. Plus 150 for Colorado, minus 170 for Pittsburgh. Although that might be a different picture because I don't know if Luis Ortiz will be priced at minus 170. I got a total of 8.5. But yeah, I'll throw this across to you, Noah, and you can tell us little bits about Luis Ortiz.
Yeah, so I'm seeing Luis Ortiz is going to get called up here for the start, and forgive me if it's Louis. I've learned that lesson on my own team with Point Park, how many Hispanic players that we've had. There's plenty of Louis and Louises out there, but this one hails out of San Pedro de Marquerie. Dominican Republic. Ortiz has made 4 starts in the MLB last year, and it was not a great sight. He started in AAA this year with a 2.23 ERA, 2-1 record, 29 strikeouts, 11 walks in 32.1 innings pitched. He's going to pitch to contact, and I'm not sure Ortiz is anything special, but neither is the Rockies or Connor Siebold, who opened the year as a reliever. Now he's making his second start of the year against the Pirates team, who is looking to bounce back after a terrible week in games against the Rays and the Blue Jays. Are the Buccos for real, or are they going to fold here? I think that a Rockies money line play is valid here against the an inexperienced Pirates pitcher.
Well, no, team rides. We are 2 for 2. I think the Rockies money line play is very valid. You've got Pittsburgh on a 7-game losing streak. We're about to find out.
We weren't going to mention that on the lead handicap. No way.
Well, I thought I'd better chuck it in there. It's pretty important. I don't mind Seabold either. Talked to up kind of last week. He did okay. Rockies steamrolled the Mets on occasions at the weekend as well. So, yeah, the prices I just think are wrong. So, yeah, give me Colorado plus 150. We will go to a 6:35 Eastern first pitch between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Baltimore Orioles. Zach Eflin takes the ball for Tampa Bay, and Grayson Rodriguez goes for Baltimore. Tampa Bay minus 125, Baltimore plus 105, and a total of 8.5. Zach Eflin 4-0 on the year with a 2.25 ERA. We liked him at the start of the season. I certainly had him down as one to watch anyway. Zach Eflin's been great. 7 innings scoreless against Pittsburgh last time out. 3 of his last 3 starts actually, have all gone towards the under. He had 10 strikeouts last time, which was a high. So yeah, he's just building and building and building. Every start, I expect him to go well. There's nothing to suggest he won't. Rodriguez was shelled last time out. He gave up 3 home runs against Kansas City, and he has been really inconsistent. Tampa Bay are 8-2 in the last 10. They're showing no signs of slowing down. They had that funny 6-run comeback against the Yankees last night. They are absolutely the Yankees' kryptonite. Like, the Yankees just can't find a way. They clearly live rent-free in the heads of the New York Yankees. Baltimore, fine, going along okay, but I think Tampa Bay will have Rodriguez worked out and they'll be ready to go. Eflin will pitch well. And the price on the Rays, you don't often, they're often shorter than this. I think this is a workable price. Minus 125 for currently the best team in baseball. I think it's a good price, so I will be taking that, Noah.
Yeah, I was close to nominating this one, the Courtney Love game, because the price is somewhat short on a Tampa Bay Rays team that is definitively the best team in baseball, with Zach Eflin, who's 4-0 with a 2.25 ERA, but I just couldn't find anything to point me towards the Orioles in this game. So I think this cheap price is too hard to pass up. So give me the Rays. We're 3 for 3 on double plays.
Yeah,
whatever you want to call these.
And you said exactly what I was thinking when I handicapped this was, let's try and find a way into the Orioles. And I just couldn't. Yeah. I would have, if there was some positive signs, you could maybe make a case. But yeah, I just couldn't find a way in. So you can't get away from Tampa, and that's a really good price.
There's another game that you gave me the lead handicap of, and I called that one the Courtney Love game of the week. So if you see any of those coming up that you're going to hand over to me, try and guess. All right.
All right. I'll keep an eye out for the Courtney Love. The lead handicaps here are a little bit lopsided because I forgot there was only 2 of us on here. So by the time I dished them out, you're ending up with a lot of me early on and then a lot of Noah later on.
That's fine.
640 is the New York Mets and the Cincinnati Reds. Max Scherzer goes to the bump for New York, and Luke Weaver for the Cincinnati Reds. Minus 213 on the Mets, plus 185 on Weaver and the Reds, and a total of 9. Scherzer 2-2 record, 5.56 ERA. His comeback start was a disaster. 6 earned against Detroit. We got Detroit that day. They were a good price. We faded Scherzer for a couple of reasons. One of mine being the old guy starts that I'm still working on, and that's 3 out of 5 now for Max Scherzer that have been bad. The Mets are they've lost 10 of their last 13, scored 2 runs or fewer in 8 of them. Max Scherzer, however, against the Reds, at the Reds, he has a 4-0 record with a 0.27 ERA and 53 strikeouts. And that's in 5 games. 53 strikeouts in 5 games started with a 0.27 ERA. Sorry?
Out of curiosity, did you mark down how many of them were at Cincinnati?
That's all. That record is at Cincinnati.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, 5 games started, 4-0, 0.27. It's absolutely stellar. Yeah, that kind of blew my handicap out of the water just as I was about to pounce on the over. I saw that and I thought, what should we do? Weaver has started 3 games this year. He's given up 4, 6, and 4, 21 hits, 6 walks, and 16 innings pitched. So lots of ducks on the pond. No reason to expect any different. I'm going to stick with the over. It was those stats of Scherzer at the Reds that nearly talked me out of it. However, Weaver has to give up some to the Mets. It's unavoidable, I think. And I can't justify being back in on Scherzer, regardless of those numbers. The recency bias is towards him conceding a few runs, and I'm still not convinced the pitch clock's doing him any favours as well. He looked a little bit rattled. So I think the Reds can add a few on, and we'll get to the over 9, I think, Noah.
Yeah, so right there, to side with your over, the Mets have a 5.54 bullpen ERA over the last 2 weeks. I like narrowing this sample down just because these teams could be pitching better over the time span, injuries also. So yeah, last 2 weeks, they're 24th in the MLB with a 5.54 ERA. And there's 3 ways that I think you could have picked this game. It's the Mets minus 1.5, the Reds money line, or the over. And I don't like any of them. So I thought it was a tough game to handicap. Scherzer didn't look great in his first appearance from suspension, but, that's just getting back into the groove maybe. Chalk that one up, throw it to the side. We want a bigger sample size here. And him coming back, was he using sticky stuff? I don't think so. I just think the alcohol and rosin was fucking sticky as hell, and it was a stupid idea. And he's pitching in the Great American Shoebox. So against Luke Weaver, like you mentioned. So the over seems like it's the play, but I love that stat that you threw out about Scherzer. So I'm going to go with the Mets minus 1.5, but again, I'm not going anywhere near this game.
Okey-doke. We've got a new sponsor here, so if anyone wants to take dating advice off me, that seems like a good idea. Life is full of what ifs. But if you tried something new when it comes to dating, Talkify is a new way to meet other serious singles. We're all about the serious here. What if they help you find what you're looking for? Are you having a hard time meeting great people to date? ? Why do you keep trying the same methods over and over if you know yourself to fail? It's time to say goodbye to swiping and bring back the human touch to dating with Talkify. Talkify, it's the country's #1 modern matchmaking service designed to help you achieve relationship success. Their trusted compatibility specialists hand select successful and compelling candidates. The Talkify matchmakers meet with you to learn about what you're looking for, and then they'll select and screen potential match candidates for you. Background checks, video interviews, all that sort of stuff. Talkify is committed to finding your match. 80% of clients met their person within the first 12 matches. Right now, Talkify is offering our listeners 20% off when you become a client at talkify.com/SGPN. That's TAWKIFY.com/SGPN for 20% off when you become a client. Talkify.com/SGPN. Okay, where shall we go next?
The chat. DVDBJ carrying this over from the college experience. All these Talkify comments are hilarious. He goes, Talkify helped me find my DGen soulmate to bet on the Detroit Tigers money line. There was some nights we had like 150 live viewers, and they're all talking up, commenting all these hilarious things about Talkify. It was hilarious. So, yeah, fun stuff. Love those ads.
6:40 Eastern first pitch. The Toronto Blue Jays at the Philadelphia Phillies. Alek Manoah draws the start for Toronto, and Aaron Nola likewise for Philadelphia. Toronto are +115 road underdogs. Philadelphia -135 with a total of 8.5. Alek Manoah 1-2 on the year, 4.71 ERA. has been inconsistent. And I find it really hard to get right, Alek Manoah. I certainly have so far this season. His walk rates up and down like a bride's night. You just don't really know what to expect. He's been better on the road, 2.95 ERA, and has pitched more on the road as well, 21 and 1/3. They've won 3 in a row, Toronto. They've been scoring lots of runs. Aaron Nola, a little bit similar to Bieber, who we talked about earlier on. You expect better from him. He's been okay, but you do expect a bit more. I don't think he's carried much luck either. This was really tricky. I'm going to lean with Manoah's road form and the fact that Toronto are on a little bit of a streak and their bats look quite lively at the moment. I like the price, plus money, plus 115 for the Toronto Blue Jays, Noah.
Yeah, both of these teams, they have top 10 offenses in the MLB. The Phillies, 769 OPS against right-handed pitching, and the Blue Jays, 759 OPS. The difference here is that Toronto's bullpen has a 2.83 ERA over the last 2 weeks. That's 8th in the MLB. The Phillies have seen regression as they now have a 5.06 ERA over the last 2 weeks. That's 23rd in the MLB. I'm going to go with the road dog here with the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay, that's another team right now. What's going on? Yeah, we're in cahoots. 7:05 Eastern first pitch. The Oakland Athletics. I couldn't say even their name without laughing then. That's ridiculous. The Oakland Athletics at the New York Yankees.
Drew Rucinski. Oakland. They'll forever be the fucking Oakland baseball team. Athletics franchise is a pathetic piece of shit that don't pay any money for their baseball team.
Okay. Drew Rucinski goes for Oakland. And New York Yankees pitcher will be Clark Schmidt. Plus 190 on the A's, minus 222 on the Yankees, total at 8.5. Noah, what case could you make for anybody here?
Yeah, really stretching to make any sort of case, but I'm not going to play anything in this game. I do think that this is going to be Aaron Judge's return back to the lineup, so that could give this lineup a shot of energy, and maybe it's sharp to play the -1.5 a day before at -105 before the news is officially announced. I believe this is the return date for Judge. Drew Rucinski, the NC Dinos KBO legend, has started his new MLB tenure, poorly, allowing 8 runs and 9.1 innings in 2 starts. Clark Schmidt doesn't blow your skirt up, but his last start was good, so that's all we have to go off of right now. It's a Yankees -1.5 play, but no confidence behind it at all.
Yeah, we've got 1,000 different opinions here in the chat. Captain Encino's taking the dog.
Yankees fan.
Yeah, Aaron Judge will be back tomorrow, we believe. I think the only angle I could find here, there's nothing to recommend Rucinski, nothing to recommend the A's, nothing to recommend Schmidt. So New York team total was all I got to. That seemed like the safest option. Is that Rucinski, and then whoever follows him will give up some runs, and New York will score 5 at least. Yeah. So that was pretty much the pick.
Following him, Oakland, 28th in the MLB in the last 2 weeks, bullpen ERA 6.13. So love that.
Correct. 7:20 Eastern first pitch is the Boston Red Sox at the Atlanta Braves. Nick Pivetta on the bump for Boston, and Charlie Morton for Atlanta. Plus 155 for the Red Sox, minus 175 for Atlanta. Total of 9. Nick Pivetta, 2-2, 4.99 ERA. He's been a very steady bang average, Nick Pivetta. All his starts are the same. They're all identical. 5 or 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 or 2 walks, 3 or 4 earned runs every single time. He's got a 3.82 career ERA at the Braves, which is okay, kind of serviceable. Charlie Morton, 3-3, 3.38 ERA. He had his worst start last time out at the Mets, walking too many batters in generally. Fits into my old guy fade framework too. I think both look vulnerable here to 2 good hitting lineups. We know Boston, someone's going to put it in the chat, or they haven't got there already, that Boston are an overs machine. So it's a pretty much our system play. I'll take the over 9, Noah, please.
Yeah, it's another double play here from us. 2 top 10 offenses against right-handed pitching. Boston Red Sox, second best offense against righties, 815 OPS. Atlanta 10th with a 747, and both of these guys have poor opponent batting averages against them. We'll start with the a little bit of a better average against the Braves. The active roster of Atlanta is hitting 241 against Nick Pivetta. I know a lot of guys get like mad when I don't mention it. We haven't had too many good PVB so far on this slate, but this one is where you start to crack it. Marcell Ozuna hitting 250 against Pivetta, Austin Riley hitting 333. Those are two guys to keep an eye on. And then, of course, Ronald Acuna Jr. on an NL MVP tear right now. And then Boston's active roster hitting 298 against Chucky Moe. And as this page loads, we have a Rafi Devers 258 average, 273 from Justin Turner with a tank, and 429 from Alex Verdugo. Just some names to keep an eye on here in the prop market for this game, but love the over, Mel.
Okie doke. 7:40 Eastern first pitch, Noah, is the game I think you have marked as the Courtney Love game. This is the one I'm going to go for. The St. Louis Cardinals at the Chicago Cubs. Jack Flaherty is the one causing most of the stink for the Cards, and Jameson Taillon for the Cubs. Plus 105 on St. Louis, minus 125 on the Cubs. No total because of the silly wind, etc. Noah, was I correct?
No, but I like playing this game because just to see like if the price.
It's a fun game.
It's fun to play around with, and just scaling the board what seems off. But this is maybe why I didn't see it as it's off. I'd love to see what happens on Monday between these two teams, because the Tigers hit a grand slam against the Cardinals on Sunday, and then St. Louis went on to score 9 unanswered runs to avoid the sweep and just blow out Detroit on Sunday. If this offense is finally awoken, because if not, the Cubs offense has been better so far this year. And they have the better starting pitcher on the mound who won't beat himself up with walks. Flaherty, he got bombed by the Angels in his last start for 10 runs in 2.1 innings. He's got a 14.3 walk percent compared to Jameson Taillon, who's 79th percentile with a 5.4 percentage walking batters this year. So Flaherty is in the 10th percentile. So that's really bad with the control. Although the Cubs, they don't have an established closer, they've had the best bullpen ERA over the last 2 weeks with a 2.31 ERA. The Cards, they're 21st with a 4.82. So it's a wait and see from me after Monday's game, but I might jump on the Cubs here.
The Cubs was my bet. I very much enjoyed TV DVJ describing Jack Flaherty as booty cheeks. That's a nice, very cute description of him. Paul Goldschmidt in his third.
What's up with the booty cheeks here? We're talking about Dog's booty cheeks and now Flaherty's booty cheeks.
Has been a lot of booty action tonight on the show. Paul Goldschmidt had his third career 3 home run game last night. So well done to him. Yeah, you can't back Jack Flaherty. You'd be mad. I think I picked Taillon last week and he gravely disappointed me, but I'll give him another chance tomorrow. Because like I say, Flaherty's on the no bet list, so I'll take the Cubs at minus 125 as well. What were you saying, mate? Sorry.
Yeah, sorry about all this talk about ass. If we have any degens out there with ex-girlfriends, we sincerely apologize.
7:40 Eastern first pitch is the San Diego Padres at the Minnesota Twins. Michael Wacker for the Padres, Louis Varland for the Twins. It's a match on the books, minus 110 each of 2. Total set at 9. Noah, can you split them?
Both of these teams, actually, no, not really. Both of these teams have had pretty similar starts to the season, below average offenses with great pitching. This matchup specifically, I think the total is just a bit too high with Michael Wacha, who's made 2 good starts in a row here, and Louis Varland, who I know both of us believe in. Both of these bullpens have top 10 ERAs over the last 2 weeks, both of them under 3, and with a total of 9. I think I just like the under. I think it's a little bit too high.
Lane's rightly pointed out that no one, we have to take a vow of silence regarding Munaf in this show, because if he finds out the shenanigans, he will not be impressed. We get in trouble off Munaf.
He's out of the office for a week.
Yeah, yes. We can do what we want. We go wild. We'll have a toga party on Thursday, Noah. We'll pencil that in. Everyone, togas on. What are we talking about, San Diego? I faded Wacker last time, and he was brilliant. There's a pattern emerging here, actually, the same as Tayo last time. I backed him, and he was rubbish. I think he'll go okay. I like Varland. I like Louis Varland. I think there is hope for him. I think the better days ahead for Varland, but not on this occasion. I think San Diego are just better. There's not much. I think Wacker's probably a better pitcher, and San Diego are a better team. And we're getting minus 110 each of two. You have to take the Padres in this situation. 7:40 Eastern first pitch is the Chicago White Sox and the Kansas City Royals. Lucas Giolito goes for the White Sox, and Jordan Lyles goes for Kansas City. We have odds of minus 150 on the White Sox, plus 130 on Kansas. Total 9.5. Lucas Giolito 1-2 ERA, 360. 1-2 record, 367 ERA. He's had one bad start at Tampa Bay of the 7 games he started so far this season. 5-1 record at the Royals with a 2.81 ERA. And Jordan Lyles is just in huge auto fade. He has lost 6. Oh well, him and the Royals have lost 6 of his 7 starts by over 1.5 runs, or plenty bigger on some occasions. So that's the only stat you need to know, really. 6 out of 7, the opposition run line would have catched. So let's take the Chicago White Sox to make it 7 out of 8 tomorrow. White Sox on the run line, Noah. Seems easy.
Yeah, it does seem a little bit easy, and the White Sox have woken up a little bit here since the beginning of May. The offense is just a little bit more exciting, and they have Tim Anderson back. The offense is also hitting .314 in their history against Jordan Lyles. Guys to eye in this game, Elvis Andrews hitting .343, Yasmani Grandal .360, .571 from Gavin Sheets with a bomb. Yasmani Grandal also did have a bomb, by the way. .333 from Andrew Benintendi and .286 from Tim Anderson. I think this is White Sox all day long. Tough day for the we're on auto fade with the White Sox for 14 days straight, eh?
Yeah, they've made it off. Like you said, they've been better lately. They've made it off the auto fade list. So yeah, they're in contention for a pick now and again. And yeah, we'll take him. We'll take him in this spot, Noah. 7:40 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers at the Milwaukee Brewers. Noah Syndergaard takes the ball for the Dodgers, and left-handed pitcher Eric Lauer goes for the Brewers. It's another match. Minus 110 each of 2. Total at 9. Noah, can you split these two?
So Malcolm, this is the Courtney Love game.
Oh, this is the one. Okay.
Yeah, this one smells like absolute shit. You got Eric Lauer on the mound, and it's pretty much an even price against the public's favorite Dodgers and Noah Syndergaard. Let me tell you what Eric Lauer has done in his last 2 starts. On paper, he's 3-3 with a 4.40 ERA. His last 2 starts were against the Tigers, where he gave up 4 runs in 3 innings, and against the Rockies, where he gave up 4 runs in 4.2 innings. Not very good starts against 2 pretty poor offenses. So I thought this game is just completely off. I think the stat that's sticking out here for me is that these teams' OPS against righties and lefties are much different. Milwaukee, 742 OPS against right-handed pitching. That's 11th. And the Los Angeles has a 661 OPS against left-handed pitching, which is 25th. Like I said, this game just seems like the public's going to love the Dodgers with Noah Syndergaard on the mound. And give me the Brew Crew at home on the money line.
Yeah, fair enough. Make a good case. I couldn't really do anything with the side on this at all. You're just rooting through the stats on both pitch, and they're so inconsistent, particularly Lauer. You couldn't take the Brewers, and I didn't really want to take the Dodgers with Syndergaard because I'm kind of out on Syndergaard. And like I say, Lauer's so up and down, it's hard to know what to do. So I took the over here. One of those where you've got 2 or 3 different ways that this could cash for you, one or the other or both. Give up a few runs. So yeah, the 9 over 9. I would have preferred maybe half a point lower. Half a run lower. But yeah, I'll take the over 9 and be happy with my push when it finishes 5-4 in favour of somebody. 9:38 Eastern. First pitch is the Houston Astros at the LA Angels. Left-handed pitcher Fran Valdez goes for Houston. Shohei Ohtani goes for the LA Angels. Plus 115 on Houston, minus 135 on the Angels. Total of 7.5. Back to Noah.
Yeah, I'm having notebook issues. This is what happens when you have traditional old school paper. But I think this is the best pitching matchup of the day. One of the best we've seen all year so far. So this is appointment television. Framber Valdez, 2.60 ERA, only 10 walks with 45 strikeouts and 45 innings pitched. And through the first month, Shohei Ohtani is looking like the AL Cy Young favorite with a 4-0 record, 2.54 ERA, and 59 strikeouts and 39 innings. Here's my handicap, though. Angels hitters have a 2.63 batting average against Framber Valdez. Taylor Ward hitting 500, Anthony Rendon 438 with a homer, and Brandon Drury hitting 600. I think I have to go with the Angels on the money line here after the Astros' early offensive woes with Shohei on the mound.
I will concur with you for the umpteenth time tonight. It's a good matchup, this one, like you say. In fact, I'm talking bollocks. I haven't picked the same pick as you. I do think the Angels will win, but I'm not very good at picking the Angels. It's a bit of a tribulation, isn't it, when you pick LA? The first 5 under was my pick. I think Valdez has been going really well lately, and Shohei will shove as per usual. So yeah, we could get a bit of a slow burner here. So I'll take the first 5 under with placing some trust in both pitches. 9:40 Eastern. First pitch is the Texas Rangers at the Seattle Mariners. Left-handed pitcher Andrew Heaney for the Rangers, and George Kirby goes for Seattle. Plus 140 on Texas, minus 160 on Seattle. Total set at 8. He struggled his last 3 starts. He's getting progressively worse again. It's really hard to work out. I feel like we're always talking about Heaney on this show. Everyone was pumped for him first start of the season, had a shocker. And then just as we kind of got ready to write him off, he came back and pitched really well and has regressed again since. All of those starts have been at home. So maybe he might be a little bit happier on the road. I checked his road stats at Seattle, 446 career, so nothing to write home about there. George Kirby, 3-2 on the earth, 3.11 ERA. He's been fine. The key to George Kirby is he's not walking anybody and he's not giving up any home runs. He's also going deep into games as well. You're getting 6-7. I think he's gone 8 innings once this year. I think Seattle this weekend to me looked like they were turning a little bit of a corner, certainly offensively. Julio Rodriguez looks more like his old self. They're back at 500 as well, which I think is important. I've got Seattle down here at minus 160. Price is a bit short. Shot around, there'll be a 150 somewhere we can find. So I'll take the 1.5 play behind George Kirby on the Mariners. Noah.
Yeah, you feel like you've been talking about Heaney a lot on this podcast. I feel like I've gotten Logan Gilbert and George Kirby on every podcast that I'm on. And Kirby's done, like, I like the word that you used, fine. Like, he's not excelled in really any of these games, but his box scores have all been doing just middle of the road. And most of the times it's setting up Seattle to win, which is not paying off for me and the angle that I thought that he'd have a sophomore slump. Logan Gilbert, it's been a little bit better. And we're talking about 2 teams that I was completely indifferent on in the preseason. I was all the way in on the Rangers, just not putting any money in just because of their health. They're all a lot of injury-prone players. And as we've seen, it's Corey Seager and Jacob deGrom that are down right now. And we're talking about the Mariners, who I just seemed like I was the one pumping the brakes on all the preseason hype. But I think this game in particular, I have to go with the Mariners on the money line.
Okay. The penultimate game. I've caught him out. He's having a drink. Oh, he's panicked. There he goes. He's got his pen. Pen's up. The penultimate game on the show is the 9:40 Eastern first pitch between the Miami Marlins and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Jesus Luzardo, left-handed pitcher, goes for Miami. And Brandon Pfaadt will go for Arizona. Even money on the Marlins with Luzardo, minus 120 on Pfaadt, and the Diamondbacks total set at 9. I didn't see an awful lot of Pfaadt's first start last week, Noah. So tell me how he went and what's going on tomorrow.
Not good at all. The Rangers bombed him. I think he gave up 7 runs in 4 innings. But this is my longest winded handicap of the day. I think I have an all right read on the game. Both starters are young studs, and I think we can get a discounted first 5 under in the market. Jesus Luzardo is a wicked lefty who hasn't allowed more than 4 runs in any of his 7 starts this season. That 1 4-run start was against the Guardians, and his last 2 starts since, he's faced much better offenses than the Guardians in the Cubs and the Braves, and he's been performing very well. He catches an Arizona offense that is a better matchup than those Cubs and Braves teams right now. And Brandon Pfaadt, on the other hand, he was hit around in his first start by the Rangers, who are one of the best offenses in the league. It was on the road. It's a tough spot for your MLB debut. Pfaadt has plenty of prospect pedigree, and now he draws the 27th offense in MLB against right-handed pitching for OPS. This is a first 5 under. Stay away from the full game, though, because these bullpens could definitely blow this.
Okay, now I've got a full game here, and you've now got me scratching my head a little bit about it. I'm giving.
I'll give you the bullpen ERA. It was a blank statement. Here's the ERAs over the last 2 weeks for these bullpens. Arizona 493. That's 22nd. And a 560, which is 25th.
Yeah, I was just happy to give Brandon Pfaadt a chance here. You said lots of prospect pedigree, lots of talk about him. He's been a fantasy darling. Everyone's been picking him up for weeks, if not months, and stashing him away at the end of the bench in the fantasy leagues. And I never really need much encouragement to fade Miami just because they don't score enough runs. So you've always got a chance. Like, they never knock you out the game. And I don't know what situation I would have to take. I would want to take a -120 price about the Miami Marlins. So the fact that everyone's going to be looking at Pfaadt again to see if we can get a good start out of him. And I still think the D-backs are the better team. So therefore, like, against, especially, like I say, against this Miami team, the D-backs are always going to be in this game. So plus 100, I just think the prices are the wrong way around. So I was happy to take the value, even though the like I say, the bullpen numbers, you're trying to talk me out of it a little bit. But
it's a good handicap. I like it. I mean, you just look at the 2 teams on paper, and they should be in this game. There's no way that the Marlins pull away.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, it wasn't a big or clever handicap, but sometimes you just, again, the extra little bit of value. The final game here is 9:45 Eastern first pitch. It's the Washington Nationals at the San Francisco Giants. It is left-handed pitcher Patrick Corbin for the Nats, and it is Logan Webb for the San Francisco Giants. Plus 195 on the Nationals, -233 on the Giants, and a total of 8. Noah?
Yeah, happy Patrick Corbin Day to those who celebrate. I am one of those guys that do celebrate, and the money line's been all right. Corbin's 1-4 on the year with a 5.17 ERA, but his last 4 starts, Corbin has looked good. The under the hood StatCast numbers don't think it's going to continue. His Baseball Savant page is covered in blue, and this Giants team has their ace on the mound, and their lineup has a 308 batting average against Corbin and 115 plate appearances. So JD Davis, 297 with 4 jumbo dogs. Michael Conforto, 323 with 5 tanks. Wilmer Flores, 273. It's a Giants -1.5 plus 105 play for me here. I think the Patrick Corbin bump day enthusiasts have a nice little bank account day here.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, you look at Corbin and it almost comedically being faded on this show. But you said good. I've written down not terrible, which isn't quite good. But yeah, I mean, it's a compliment of sorts. I'm sure he'd be delighted to hear me describe him as not terrible. I bet he speaks very highly of me. But yeah, he's been all right. Like, do you know what I mean? The Nats are all right as well. The Nats are being scrappy. They're in the game. Like, hang around. Did they come back and win late doors last night, or come back and then blow it again? I think. Anyway, the scoring runs are around. quite like Logan Webb as well. You can't take the Giants. I mean, I just talked about back in Miami at -120. No point this year is we want to take the Giants at -233. I've done something I very, very rarely do. Really unusual is Washington on the run line. Barely ever take the run line for me is a favourites play. If the favourites are too short, you just tease them out to the run line. It's a bit lazy, really. But I think Washington they'll probably win now I've done this, but I think they keep this close because there's no way the Giants should be. I don't think they can get away. Similar to Miami that we just talked about. So yeah, -118 for Washington on the run line is going to be the way I'm taking this one.
Yeah, all of our guys on the pod, I think I give out probably the most +1.5 dogs. And it's just like you mentioned, it's an easy handicap to go, hey, I think that this favorite is going to win the game, but their price is -160. So let's just do the -1.5 plus money and shoot our shot there. With the dog, though, it's like, okay, maybe the bullpen is the reason why that like this price is +180 on the money line. Maybe it's the starting pitcher doesn't have the greatest stretch, hasn't had the greatest stretch, or maybe the offense is lacking a little bit here. But it's like if you don't have enough to convince you on the favorite, but you're not sold on the dog, it's a +1.5 when it's plus money. I think it hits at a high rate, and I've had good success playing those on the pot.
Holy shit! Talking about the Nats bullpen, not wanting to labour the point, tell our fantasy team or that TGFBI team, but we've got Scott Barlow, the Kansas City Royals closer, and we've got Kyle Finnegan, the Washington Nationals closer. So we've got two of the three worst teams in baseball. We've got their closer. But
mention who's our top closer.
Yeah, we've got Emmanuel Clase, so we're doing all right. So it's kind of our backup guy.
Yeah.
And we've had them on a revolving door all season because we played Barlow one week, he's terrible, and Finnegan will do all sorts. So then we swap them over, and obviously the script's completely fit. So I think last week, Finnegan had maybe 2 saves and a win, where Barlow got in the game like 3 times when they were 46-0 down. Gave up a couple of earned runs, 6 walks and a hit or something. And if we swap them over this week, exactly the same thing will happen.
Yeah, and it's just like we're doing the logical thing. We're playing the matchups. They're both closers. So it's like, who has the better stretch of games here? And then it's like, okay, the Nats just turned over who'd they turn over yesterday? It's like, okay, well, at the beginning of the week, we thought they had no business beating Arizona at Arizona, who we're high on, and they had a 4-game stretch against the Cubs. So it's like, oh my God, they win 3 of 4 against the Cubs, and they take the last one against Arizona, and they were all save situations. It's like, okay, who would have expected that?
Yeah, we couldn't have been getting that any
and Kansas
more
City
wrong.
Had 3 games against Oakland. I forgot about that.
Yeah, well, Brady Singer gave up a gazillion runs in one of them. Okay.
And Keller. Don't forget about Keller. He's gone.
Lock and dog time, Noah. Moonaf will be impressed. We've knocked this out in 54 minutes.
And
it's a two-man show, though, isn't it?
Too. We've gone off the rails as well.
The 2-man show is always good for a few minutes, quicker than the 3-man. What have you got, lock and dog?
All right, it smells like shit, but Milwaukee Brewers -105 with Eric Lauer on the mound against the Dodgers. It just makes all the sense in the world that it doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? Like Lauer has not looked good in his last 2 starts, and he's going up against a public favorite in the Dodgers with Noah Syndergaard. Everybody loves Thor. And you have Milwaukee, who has a 742 OPS against right-handed pitching. That's 11th in the MLB. And the Dodgers have a 661 OPS, which is 25th in the MLB against left-handed pitching. So I'm going with the Brewers here. And then another one that makes plenty of sense here to me. We called it out early on in the podcast where it's just the price doesn't make sense right now. Luis Ortiz is getting called up by the Pirates here, and they're a -175 favorite. I'm going to take Colorado Rockies +140 against a guy that, he doesn't have the strikeout stuff. He's going to pitch to contact, and this Colorado offense has been middle of the road against right-handed pitching. I think that Pittsburgh, they've lost their last 7 games. It's a fairly reasonable price to lay +140 with the Rockies here at Pittsburgh.
Yep, I was right there with you on that one, so fully agree. My lock, these two just felt really easy, really straightforward picks. Tampa Bay Rays, -125. See, probably a better pitcher and a pitcher who's been going well in Zach Eflin. They're definitely the better team. And I think, you know what the Rays are like. They'll be ready for Rodriguez tomorrow. There'll be plans in place to get to him tomorrow. So I think Tampa Bay are a good price at -125. And just a baby dog with its naked anus watching you eat your sandwich is the Toronto Blue Jays at the Philadelphia Phillies. We know Alek Manoah's been a little bit up and down, but his road numbers are okay. And Nola, he's sitting on a 4.64 ERA. He's been all right, but not -135 favorite. Blue Jays on a little streak, scoring some runs as well. So I'll take the Blue Jays as my dog, +115. Noah, anything else you need to tell us before we crack on?
Yeah, I mean, I think all four of our plays were kind of in the same thought process on all of them. I had both of your picks. The one that you may have been pumping the brakes a little bit was the Brewers money line from me on the Dodgers, but we loved the Rockies as a dog. So I feel all right about the slate tomorrow. How about you?
Yeah, I wasn't good enough to pick a winner of that Brewers Dodgers game, but thankfully you sorted it out for us. Yeah. The rest,
something's smelling on the board. I'm diving in.
The rest of the week here, Noah already said that Moonaf is out of office for a little while. I am off to London town again on a big old casino job, right, pretty much on the runway at Heathrow Airport. So I'll be down there till Thursday. So I think we've got Dylan and Scott Reichel. Is going to host the show tomorrow, and then I think is it you and Scott on Wednesday?
Yeah, I'm available on Tuesday, but I'm not getting the call. So it's Scott Reichel and Dylan on Tuesday, me and Scott Reichel on Wednesday, and I think it's you and me on Friday again.
I'm back on Thursday with somebody. I think
with Dylan on Thursday, and I'm with you on Friday. I have the day off Thursday.
Scott's all business as well. You'll enjoy Scott on the show this week. He will not fanny about giving you those picks.
He I don't know. He might listen. I don't think he'll listen to the end of the show. He listens to where we place the ads. Come in here and just make some fun of his mic, please. It's hilarious.
Some fun of his what? His mic.
His mic, yeah, he's got a headset and there's just a knot right here up by his face. It's funny. Okay, I find it funny. But Scott's cool. We had him on the show a couple of times last year. So
yeah,
he's our producer. So give him love tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone who was in the comments. The comment section is flames lately. It really makes me giggle on a nightly basis. So we appreciate that. Good luck with all your picks. Enjoy Scott with the boys over the next couple of days. I'll be back on Thursday. Until then, we'll see you down the road. Cheers.